LeggLife podcast. My name is Adam.
My name is Sherry.
Sherry Beth, what episode is this?
125.
It is episode 125. You know what else includes the number 125, Sherry?
I'm really hoping you tell me.
First of all, rude. STS-125 was the fifth and final space mission to the Hubble Space Telescope from the Atlantis spacecraft.
Oh.
Very fun fact.
Very exciting.
Okay, you guys, we are in Juneau, Alaska. We got off the Seabourn Odyssey for our first ever Seabourn Cruise just a couple of hours ago. Mm-hmm. We are currently sitting in a parking lot in our rental car overlooking a beautiful location. Mm-hmm. Just like islands everywhere. The sun is shining. It's gorgeous. Mountains all around. And we wanted this week's episode to be our first thoughts after stepping off the ship. And starting on Monday, you guys are going to start seeing all the vlogs from the cruise. Yeah. But there are some things that did not make it into the vlog. And so we're going to tell you kind of our very first thoughts, very low level. And then we're going to tell you some of the stories that you are not going to see in the upcoming video series. Mm-hmm. Now, Sherry Beth, we're going to do a full podcast review. We're going to show lots of it. So I don't want to go into too many details, but... A full podcast review or a full video review? I meant full video review.
Oh, okay.
How are you feeling stepping off the ship? How was it?
It was amazing. You can probably hear in my voice. I woke up this morning with a little bit of a head cold.
A little bit of the cruise crud.
But the cruise was amazing. I don't think that it's fair to compare it to other cruise lines. It's in a class all its own. The service, the food, the entertainment, like everything was great.
Yeah, same. We've talked a lot about this because we knew we were going to get the question, how does it compare to Disney? How does it compare to Princess? It doesn't.
It doesn't.
And to compare them, really, it's not fair to anybody. The experience was unlike anything. You guys know we've done a lot of traveling. This was our 13th cruise, a lot of independent travel. This was unlike anything we've ever experienced.
Yeah.
And so it really was spectacular. In fact, one of the things I think this speaks to how good it was is we both, apart from Sherry not feeling the best, we're feeling super rested, super renewed, and actually, this normally doesn't happen, excited to go home. Not excited because oh, thank goodness that vacation's over.
No.
But just oh gosh, that was exactly what we needed and perfect in every way, and now we're ready to re-enter life.
Yeah.
You were even talking about how you're excited to go back to work.
I'm excited to go back to work. Which I think speaks to the two things, just how relaxing this cruise was, and also how much I love my job.
That's very true.
Which is, I think, a good thing.
I'm not sure we've ever gone on gone on any vacation and Sherry's like, oh, I'm so excited to get back to work. So that does say a lot. But again, starting on Monday, you guys are going to see all of it. We've vlogged every single day. I think they're going to be pretty long videos for the most part. We tried to bring you guys along and just show you what the experience was like.
What our experience was.
Mm-hmm. But, first thoughts. Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
I just blown away beyond. So we went into it with, I feel like, pretty high expectations.
Yeah.
Just, everything.
Knowing that it's an ultra luxury line.
And the things that we had heard from people who'd cruised were just glowing, but it exceeded everything. It was better than our highest expectations.
Yeah.
Which says a lot. Okay, now we got some stories. I think most of them are pretty funny. So, when you're filming your trip, you document a lot of stuff, you catch a lot of stuff, but there's a lot of things that either you don't catch or that just, it wouldn't be appropriate to have your camera out at the time and film it. And I tried to be really kind of conscious of that on this vacation, especially because, there's not a lot of, when you cruise with Disney or cruise some other lines, you're sort of used to seeing people filming their vacation. That's not really the case on Seabourn.
Right.
And so I didn't want to be the annoying guy who had my camera out all the time. When we had dinner with people, we didn't even bring the camera. The camera was put away.
Right.
And so there were a lot of things that we didn't catch. But we want to tell you some of those stories because they're the kind of things that just make us laugh. And the first one, I think really documents well us on a Seabourn Cruise.
I'm surprised they let us on.
Yeah, we were.
They didn't kick us off.
We were joking that like when we got on there, it was like, oh my gosh, who are these people?
I'm sorry, you're kind of not allowed here.
Yeah, this is not your cruise. And so we're sitting at dinner the first night, very first night, and you'll see this in the vlogs. The service, everything is over the top. Mm-hmm. So they come to your table and they offer you water, but it's not just like normal water. They kind of give you a couple options.
They offer still or sparkling.
And
the very first night, I did not hear the still part. I just heard the or sparkling. And I don't like sparkling water. And so I was like, oh, just the tap water, please.
I was like, tap water. Tell me you don't fit in when you're like, I'll just take the tap water, please. We were laughing about that every time we were offered different waters the whole rest of the cruise. I'd be like, oh, sure, you sure you don't want the tap water? I heard it's really good. It was so funny. But
in my defense,
yes,
one of the entertainment guys
that's true.
Was sitting right next to us in like the really fancy restaurant last night. And they asked if he wanted still or sparkling. And he said, oh, just the regular water, please. And I was like, he said regular water.
Not tap or still. But it was so funny because it was just that first night experience. Now, I will touch into some things we're telling these stories. One of the things that we were so surprised about was how we went into it very intimidated because we aren't ultra luxury people. You guys know that. Right. And so we were very intimidated by, oh my gosh, what is the rest of the clientele going to be? But also, like, is this experience going to be just like so awkward for us?
Yeah.
And it wasn't. Like, the people we met were so nice.
Yep. I was not the only person with colored hair.
You were not the only person with colored hair. We saw lots of tattoos. Mm-hmm. We were...
Even in the staff.
Yes, we were so surprised in the best way.
Yeah.
But that first night, like, tap water, it was such a joke for us because it was like, oh, yep, there we are. There's the Clampets are on board. the Clampets are on board.
Oh, man.
Okay, so this next story, this speaks to the level of service on Seabourn that we were joking with some friends we met on board that this should have been in a Seabourn commercial.
Yeah.
All right, Sherry, set the scene.
Okay, so we're out on the Zodiac in the Indian Islands, and it's windy and it's raining, and we're looking for whales and other sea life. And one of our new friends that we were there with in the Zodiac, his hat blew off.
He had like a ball cap on, and again, it's an open air boat. So as you're kind of flying along the water, if you have a hat on, like it can just take off.
Mm-hmm. It went flying.
It did,
and we were like, "Oh no!" And he was like, "Well, all right," and just kind of assumed, "Well, that hat's gone."
Yeah, we are in the middle of no. I mean,
right.
There's no. I don't even think you could see our cruise ship at this point.
No. So there's another Zodiac. Kind of near-ish us, without passengers. I don't know, it was just a couple of the Venture team crew, and they must have seen this hat fly off, and they went after it, and they retrieved it, and they brought it back to Joe.
In the middle of the ocean, we see this other Zodiac, like, kind of gaining on us, pulling up behind us, and as he's getting closer, we see this little black thing in his hand, and I'm just like, there is no way.
He pulled up right next to us and handed it back to Joe.
I was like, that was the Seabourn difference. Uh-huh. Like, oh, you're in the middle of the ocean in Alaska, in the middle of nowhere, your hat blows off. Don't worry, we have two guys in a raft that are going to go get it for you.
Right.
Are you kidding me?
It was amazing.
It was so funny. In fact, we saw Joe, I think the next day, or a couple days later, with the hat on, and I just like started laughing when I saw the hat because that would be my prized possession. I would tell that story every time I wore the hat.
Yeah.
But again, Seabourn, like, oh, somehow you have people who are always watching, mm-hmm. and you just went and fished my hat out of the ocean.
Right. It was crazy.
Like, you got it before a sea lion got it.
Yeah.
Crazy. Okay, so there was another thing, and this kind of speaks a little bit to the size of the boat, the size of the ship. The ship is definitely smaller.
Yep.
Which we love.
Which I actually really appreciated.
And we'll talk about that in our wrap-up video. But one of the things that we noticed was that some ship noise was a little bit louder, and not just noise, but vibration.
Yeah.
So we're from Alaska, obviously. And one of the things that that kind of startles us a little bit are earthquakes, like when you feel them coming.
Yeah.
Well,
there was one night that the seas were pretty rough, and we were laying in bed and you could actually feel it like moving. And then I don't know if it was like the engines or I don't know, but because of the size of the ship, you kind of no matter where you are on the ship, you can feel the engines, and it kept waking me up because it was like almost like earthquakes, like it was jolting.
So the way an earthquake starts, if you've ever been in an earthquake, it's almost like you feel it begin. And that's what it was. Now, it never got bad. In fact, because I know we have a lot of Disney Cruise listeners on here. Have you ever been in one of the restaurants and it's like right above the engine and there's just that constant vibration? That's not what it was. It's not that at all. It's never that bad.
No.
But what it felt like was the very beginning of an earthquake that was going to build. And that's the only way we know how to describe it. And because we've experienced that so many times at home,
my body was on high alert and I kept waking up.
Yeah, like that one night.
The rocking put me to sleep. It was fantastic. The jolting.
Because it was like the start of an earthquake. It was. I've never felt that feeling, like that movement, outside of an earthquake.
Right.
And it was just so interesting. And we almost had to tell ourselves, like, okay, we're at sea. We're not feeling earthquakes. Right. Because that's exactly what it felt like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so interesting.
Yep. And then you could feel them, like, dropping the anchor. And it was... Yeah, like, I mean, it was just kind of part of the size of the ship. I think there's not a way to escape that, but... yeah, that jolting.
Yeah.
Earthquake.
All right, what do we got?
I was like, we're in the middle of the ocean. We're not having an earthquake.
What do we got next on our list?
Next on the list.
Oh, jeez.
I'm going to let you tell this story, babes.
Okay, so you guys know the rain pant debacle. We struggled to find rain pants. Finally found cheap rain pants at Walmart.
Here's the thing. We found rain pants at, like, Cabela's, but we didn't want to spend as much as they were asking for them to wear them one time.
And that was the thing. These were single-use rain pants.
Yep.
Mine ended up not even being single-use rain pants. So first of all, the first pair I bought, I tried on at home. I was like, oh, these are way too big. I'm going to take them back and get a smaller size. In hindsight, bad move. Because the morning of our Zodiac trip, I put on my rain pants and...
Sat down to put your shoes on.
Sat down to put my shoes on. And we all heard the rip of cheap plastic. And I was like, oh no. And I instantly knew. I was like, that came from my crotch. And so I like reached down and feel gigantic hole.
Oh yeah.
Like blew out from the front to the back. huge like hole. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. So then I told Sherry, I was like, first of all, when you put your pants on, sit down carefully. Like, just be very careful, Sherry.
Yep.
The crotch, apparently not the most stable thing in these. So then I'm like, first of all, I'm kind of frustrated because of all that we went through to find these.
Right, and then you couldn't even wear them.
And then I couldn't even wear them. Now, fortunately, it actually was not really raining. Like, it was kind of a little drizzly.
It kind of drizzled a little bit, but we got some sunshine on the Zodiac. It wasn't really wet.
And so it's like, all right, here's what I'm going to do. I have, like, these joggers that are water repellent, kind of. So I just wore them over my jeans and it ended up working out perfect. So like in hindsight, I didn't even need rain pants, but it was just so annoying to me that we went through all of that and I couldn't even wear my rain pants because they had the biggest. And here's the thing, the material, there's no fixing that material.
No.
That material is basically tissue paper. And I just... Yeah.
Ripped right through.
But yours worked great.
Mine was great. We threw them away afterwards because I did have to cut the the legs because they were way too long. And again, like I don't plan on wearing them again, so I just threw them away.
So those did not make it home with us. Mine didn't even make it out of the stateroom. They went right in the trash.
Correct.
Oh, my Lord. All right. Next. This was actually, in the weirdest way, one of my favorite parts of the cruise.
Agreed.
So they have Seabourn Square, and it's kind of like the main lobby area. It's where guest services are. It's where
coffee shop is.
Yeah, the coffee shop.
Library.
Lots of tables and chairs and just beautiful windows. And they had 3 tables out, and the tables had puzzles on them. And so, there were people just kind of as you're passing through, maybe you sit down and do a couple puzzles. And so one day we're in there working on a puzzle, and there was a kind of a family and friend group who was in there working on a puzzle over in the corner as well. And they were so focused.
They kept trying to recruit us. They're like, hey, you should come over and help us.
Please come help. Please come help. And we're like, no, we're working on our own puzzle. And so finally, they were like, no, really, we need your help, please. And they were probably, I would say, around our age.
Yeah.
It was a group of people like around our age, maybe a little bit older, maybe parents, but just like so nice. And so we went over and helped them, and it just ended up being this, like, how many of us were there? Probably 8 of us-ish.
Yeah, somewhere in that, yeah.
Who were focused on this single mission of finishing this 1,000-piece puzzle that they had started.
Yeah.
And it was really funny talking to them because they said that only one person in the group actually likes puzzles. But it had become this, like, oh my God, we've got to do this.
It's a determination thing now. Like, we're just going to finish this.
The puzzle got finished.
It got finished. It was hilarious. It was so much fun. Just like hanging out and chatting with them. They were just a really fun group of people. And
well, here's the thing. We actually saw them day 1. At our muster drill. They were at the table next to us. And I could tell from the very moment, I was like, oh, you guys are our kind of people.
And we kept kind of seeing them around the ship, and they were just a lot of fun.
And they just were, it was just one of the best. In fact, I was trying to think to myself, what do you think other people in Seabourn Square think of all of us? There's 8 people huddled over a puzzle.
A coffee table sitting on the floor, like laughing our heads off for who knows how long. Oh, man.
Finishing this puzzle. Like, we just had the best time. And then what was funny is the whole rest of the cruise, when we'd see them, we would just like make puzzle jokes.
Right.
We saw them at Icy Strait Point, and they were like in line to get on an excursion. We're like, oh, you going on a puzzle excursion? It became this running joke with us. Yep. And I was laughing so hard every time we'd walk by the Seabourn Square. I'd be like, I wonder if they're doing a puzzle.
Oh, it was great.
Who knew, Sherry? You can make friends doing puzzles.
Yep. Of course you can.
All right. What do we got next?
This next one I'm going to let you explain. I'm going to set the scene, though. So was this Haynes?
It was in Haynes.
We're getting off of the ship in Haynes, walking up the, I don't know what this is called. Getting on
gangway.
Sure. Kind of on the dock. And we're behind this family. Parents and like 2 kids. We're walking, and then all of a sudden, one of the boys just stops. And what did he do? Okay,
so there were 2 ships in town. There was our ship and a Royal Caribbean ship. And this family was getting off the Royal Caribbean ship, and it was kind of like where our group and the Royal group merged together. And so it's like the dock's really busy. Lots of people walking, pretty crowded, but we're all sort of walking at the same pace because we're trying to get off the dock. And yeah, this family's right in front of us, and this kid, how old do you think he was?
Oh,
9?
8 or 9.
8 or 9. He just stops, literally right in front of us, dance break. He just stops and starts dancing. And so because I'm going to encourage this. Good for you. I'm just like, and this kid's just dancing. And then I was like, hit the gritty. And he stops and he hits the gritty. For those of you who don't know, I don't even know how to explain it. It's a dance that like lots of young kids do that I only know because we have kids in our life. And so I was like, hit the gritty, and he did it. And I was just like, this is the funniest experience. Like,
it was just so funny because we're just like walking, and he's just walking like normal, and then stops and like dances, and then keeps going, and then stops
and dances
10
again.
10 feet like later, and dances again, and we're
and hit the grid. And I'm just like,
dance break.
It was the funniest thing. I was like, guys, hold on 1 second. I need to dance right now. I've got I've got moves that need to come out, and I cannot wait. And I just thought it was the funniest thing. And one of the parts that I loved was that the rest of his family, he must do this often.
They just kept walking.
Because they were just like, we're not even stopping for him. Like, he will catch up when he's done dancing, because it was just so funny. But my favorite was when I was like, hit the gritty, and then he did, and then he like looked back, and he probably didn't expect to see like a 44-year-old guy. Like, it's like, how do you know what that is, old man? Oh my goodness.
Oh, it was great.
So I don't think any of that stuff made it into the vlogs.
Nope.
And
there was a lot of other things that we were like, oh, I wish we'd gotten that.
It's the kind of thing though, it's always hard because we don't want to stage something,
right?
You know what I mean? Like, oh, do that again,
right?
Like, that's weird. And so it's like, if we don't catch it, we don't catch it,
right?
So we thought we had a note in my phone that we just kind of kept adding stuff to.
Yep.
Like, as we would see random things. Mm-hmm. But you guys, I do got to say, overall, this cruise was absolutely amazing. Yes, it was. I feel like this was the kind of vacation that we will remember and talk about for the rest of our lives. Yeah, and I really want to do it again. I want to go on Seabourn again. Me too. I would cruise Alaska again. I would go anywhere else in the world that Seabourn is at. We were kind of talking, it has a beautiful, very small, but very beautiful pool deck. Two pools, lots of hot tubs. Yep, lots of hot tubs, lots of really comfy lounge chairs and little like egg things. And like, we never got to sit out there because it was 40 degrees and raining. Yeah, we had really great weather in Vancouver and the first day at sea. And then these last 2 days in Haines and Juneau, we've had nice weather. But never warm enough to really enjoy outside. Yeah. And so especially when the ship's moving. It's windy, it's cold. Yeah. Yeah. But gosh, I'm so excited for you guys to watch the videos. Yeah. So I've got my plan is we're flying home tonight to Anchorage, get home Friday night, and then we have all day Saturday and all day Sunday at home. Hopefully Sherry's going to be able to rest for the next couple days. Try to knock out this cold. Yep. And then I am going to basically spend the whole weekend editing because we're going to put out a video every single day. Starting Monday. And what's really fun is that a number of the crew, so some of the crew watch our channel, which was insane. And then a bunch of other crew and guests. It was so funny. We were at yesterday actually, kind of at the sail away, like the goodbye party, and this couple came up to us like, hey, we heard you make YouTube videos. And they just had so many tell us about that. They had so many questions, and they were wanting to know like, when are these videos going up? We had some of the crew ask like, when are your videos going to start? And so we told them all Monday morning, so I've got to get it up Monday morning. So my weekend is going to be editing, and so excited to share. But those were some of our things you will not see in the vlog. You will not see the kid hitting the gritty. You're not going to see me blowing the crotch out of my pants. You're not going to see Sherry's. I'll take tap water, please. Okay. He made fun of me for that, like every other meal. You know the tap water? You know the nice thing is that that's one of those things that will continue even after the cruise. When we get home and you know how you know what? Every other meal, I was like, still water, please. Oh no, I know. I made sure that you corrected it. Still water. But the thing is that you only had to make the mistake once. You know how at nighttime before you go to bed, you're like, hey, could you fill my water bottle up? I hope you understand that probably for the next 40 years, when you're like, could you fill my water bottle up? I'd be like, oh, do you want sparkling or tap? You know, I'm never asking you to fill my water bottle again. Just so you don't hear it. Oh, friends, we are relaxed. We are rested. We feel like we had a vacation. Sometimes you get done with the vacation, it's like, man, I feel more tired. We feel like we had a vacation. But we still did a lot. Yep. And you guys are going to see that over the next week as we start putting these videos out, friends. We love you so very much. Thanks for listening to the LeggLife podcast, and we will see you next week. Bye.